Hello, this is Avalonias from Avalonias Improvement. Well, it's our second day in the new year! Woo, woo, woo! So, are you still looking forward to it? I know I am. Today is Thursday, and let me see what we have on the plate. So Thursdays is kind of like an all-around thing kind of category. I'm actually going to talk to you about something very important. Since it is the new year, I know that a lot of us have been spending a lot of money for the holidays, and perhaps there's birthdays around this time of year. Perhaps you need to fix something in your car, get new tires, pay bills, or you just want something to, take care of yourself a little bit. Well, we will be talking more about that here in a little bit. But first, I wanted to read a story, kid's story, and it is called Stuck Up or Shy. Those of you who have children, if you would like to allow them to listen, more than welcome, or if you like to listen to it yourself. The faraway friends are pen pal. Susanna May Farmer felt guilty. It was almost time for primary class to begin, and the kids were gathered in the hall talking. Two girls were whispering behind their hands about the new family. "Well, I think she looks stuck up," one said, looking sideways at the older girl who was walking down the hallway toward the early teen class. And secretly, Susanna agreed. The most beautiful girl she'd ever seen, with her long, shiny black hair and warm, light brown skin and dark eyes, but stuck up. That's why Susanna felt guilty. The new family was the very one who had been building the fantastic new house right next door to Susanna's farm. The castle, as she and her friends called it, was almost finished. She had been divided between looking forward to new neighbors and nervousness. After all, what would such rich people have in common with her, a poor farm girl? She could afford enough horses to fill the huge stable they had built, and she couldn't even afford another plastic collectible horse. Susanna didn't usually think of herself as poor. But when she had seen a shiny black sports car pull up to the new house earlier in the week, she had known that even if there was a kid her age in that family, they could never be friends. Today, the same black car had pulled up to the church. Susanna was astonished. It had never occurred to her that the rich family could be Christian. Besides the man, there was a woman with a lacy scarf covering her hair, the teenage girl, and wouldn't you know it, a primary age boy. Not that Susanna minded. Some of her best friends were boys, but she had been so hoping there would be a girl. There were enough boys at her house. The man seemed lively and friendly, but no one else in the family had said a word yet. Stuck up, no doubt about it. Miss Komodo called the class to come in and sit down. Savannah went in with Mike and Matt. The new boy didn't seem to want to come in. Miss Komodo went out and talked with him and his mother, and they both came in. The mother sat in the back of the class. Several people snickered. "What a baby!" Susanna felt guilty. "Class," Miss Komodo said, "we have visitors today. But not for long. When their new house is finished, the El Sharifs will be members here at our church. I want you to welcome Solomon and Mrs. El Sharif today and show them what a friendly class you can be." Susanna saw her glance toward the girl who had giggled and felt guiltier than ever. Solomon didn't say a word. He didn't even smile. When they sang, his mouth moved a little, but you couldn't hear anything. At Bible story time, Miss Komodo was talking about the burning bush. God told Moses to take off his shoes because he was standing on holy ground, she said. Instead of paying attention, Susanna was trying to sneak peeks at Solomon and decide if he would possibly ever be friendly. Why did God tell Moses to take off his shoes? Someone asked. That was a way of showing reverence in the land where Moses lived, Miss Komodo explained. That's weird, one of the girls said, and they snickered again. Because she was looking at him, Susanna saw Solomon's face come alive and suddenly. What's weird about it? He demanded. Everybody looked at him, but nobody knew what to say. We take off our shoes even in our house, Solomon said. And at my uncle's mosque, which is like a church, everybody takes their shoes off to show their reverence. You do? Why? It's our custom, Solomon said. That's very interesting, Mrs. Komodo said. In my native country in Japan, people take off their shoes indoors too. It's considered polite to offer guests soft slippers to wear. What are some other customs that can show respect or reverence? I thought reverence meant you had to be quiet in church, Matt said. That's our custom, Mrs. Komodo agreed. It's getting juicy, huh, guys? In some places, shouting praises is considered reverent. In the Bible, they sometimes danced to God to praise God, Mike said. My mother wears her head covering to show reverence and respect, Solomon said. Everyone turned to look at his mother, who looked embarrassed. Don't stare, Mrs. Komodo reminded them. That's one way we show respect, too. I do not mind, Mrs. El-Sharif said. Her voice was quiet and had a strong accent. When I was young, I wore a head covering because I was taught that I must. It was a rule, even a law. I never thought about it. Now that I know Jesus, everything is different. I think about what I do and why. I have decided I still like my head covering. It is a custom that makes me feel comfortable. In my heart, it shows respect for Jesus. As the lesson concluded, Susanna was starting to feel very different about the new family. Maybe they weren't stuck up. Maybe they were just shy, as most people would be in a new place. Especially a new place where people had giggled and stared instead of being friendly. She felt guilty again, but this time she knew what to do about it. She silently asked Jesus to forgive her. And then she smiled at the new boy. Solomon, this is my brother Matt and our friend Mike. Would you like to sit with us while we make the fingerprint family? Solomon's face lit up with a huge grin. I'd like to. And call me Solly. He went to his mother and whispered something to her. And she smiled and left the room. Then Solly came back to his 3 new friends. I'm glad you're so friendly, he whispered. At first, I thought everyone seemed so stuck up. Susanna wouldn't tell the boys why she put her hands over her face and laughed. So you see, and this is for all of us, that story is beautiful because I think that a lot of the time we are so caught up in people's appearances and what they look like, what people think they look like, what they hear about people, and they don't, we need to stop doing that. It's a person's heart. When you're looking at someone from the inside and reading the actual pages of the book, then you start to realize how much in common you may have with that person, or just in general, knowing them personally. And if you decide that you still don't like that person, at least you gave them the benefit of the doubt and you didn't judge them by the cover of what they look like. Love that story. So, I did want to get back to something. Back to our investments and money. So, basically, I want to know something. How much money do you guys spend? Are you the kind of people who spend money all the time? Or are you super penny saver where you never spend money? Well, I'll tell you something. So, I personally was not really good with my money. I spent it as much as I could get it. I even spent money when I didn't have money. But then I ended up getting these books. Managing Your Personal Finances. This is a college edition right here. But really good book to read. Honestly, any books that's financial is really good to read. This one is actually for teachers to teach students that are in college. And this is another one of managing your personal finances again. Yeah, no, these books are good. My favorite though, which you can actually go do his online classes. He even has Facebook and YouTube, so you can watch videos. And his name is Dave Ramsey, and complete guide to money. And he talks about from step to step how we need to save our money, investing time, and key points. And I'll tell you, a lot of relationships that end up going downhill, especially usually those who are married, it's due to finances and easy ways to get covered. All right, so I'm going to teach you a few simple steps, but I really do hope that maybe you go on to Google, and perhaps look into getting this Dave Ramsey book. It has helped my husband and I out a lot, where we go on vacation now. We go on vacation, we go out to eat, we buy some clothes, and we are able to do so because we make sure we always have money for bills. That's always, the very first thing that I like to do is I always make sure that I have money for bills. And once I make sure that there's enough money for bills, that I pay that off early, because I like to pay my bills off early. For one, it feels good. And second of all, if it ever comes down to it where sometime I am so short where I'm not able to pay that, I know that the utilities will be lenient on me because my track record is always on time and early. So, for real though, I mean, seriously, it's so nice to be able to try to take control of your life. Even when you have a paycheck, you don't have to spend all the money. You can save it and keep saving it, and you can take care of your car. Does your car lights on? Have you been ignoring them for a while? Do you think that you need new underwear? Your husband's underwear is falling apart. Those of you who have husbands or boyfriends, you take care of them like that. You know what I'm talking about. Dog food, you need some personal care yourself. Maybe you would like to just go out to eat, for one day. These things can be taken care of even when it comes to like holiday shopping and stuff. There's cheaper ways to help people out, a lot of the times I always have a lot of stuff in the house. Like, I'm not a clutter freak, but I always seem to have things. And so I always find things that I know that my family may enjoy that I don't use as much, but I know that they may use it a lot more than me. And so I'll wrap it up and give it to them, if it's still in good condition and whatever. Of course, I'll let them know, like, hey, it's been used, but I feel like you're going to enjoy this a lot more. Different ideas to think about, but yes, that's definitely one that I do agree that it's essential. Especially when you're in God. Once you are with God and you're growing with Him, personally, I do tithing. So I had 10%. Every check that we get or any money that we get, I 10% it. So let's say I get $100. Then I tithe $10. And the tithe goes to the church, and the church uses it for, making sure that pastors are comfortable, that they have a place to sleep, traveling to where they need to be, and being able to stay there, because that's how the pastors make their money. They do not make a regular income like everyone else does. So pastors, I think, are good because they're shepherds to a flock, The right shepherd will make sure that his flock is running smoothly and knowing what they need to know in their life. Yes, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of bad ones out there, like Joel Osteen, for instance. But not everyone is like that, and do not keep yourself in that mindset where, all Christians are like that, or all pastors are like that. anything, and if anything, there's always people like that. But there's also more good people out there in the world than there are bad. And with that being said, I'm going to go back to Perfect Pink Book. Love this pink book. Okay, so it says here, only conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or remain absent, I will hear of you that you are standing firm in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. This is the book of the Bible, book of Philippians, which is in the New Testament, chapter 1, verses 27. Oh, that's beautiful. Love that. And it kind of goes in what we're talking about. We have to be in complete harmony with everything that we're doing, and hopefully all that harmony that we want is the same understanding that God is trying to work with us in. Actually, I can do these cards really quick. Let's do this really quick. So, I love these little cards. Things you will always remember about last year. Yeah, that's actually perfect, right? What is something about last year of 2019 that the different impacts that brought in your life? If you'd like, you can more than welcome comment below and let me know what's going on. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. If it's not good things, I hope that you will refrain from doing so, although if you feel the need to, it's your own will. Let's see. Last year, a lot of wonderful things I think have come to me. I finally moved into this house last year in April, and I got some wonderful animals, 2 beautiful dogs and 1 beautiful cat. My business started taking off a lot better than it was, and I think that keeping busy and learning new aspects of myself have been such a wonderful impact on my life. So, yeah, there we have it. Remember, and always remember this, keep a healthy mind for yourself. When you're thinking negative or stressed out, those things can affect your body physically. So don't let that happen. Well, anyways, I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day and enjoy our new year. Woo!